We're talking about Barlaser Masterclass this week as Boro take apart Hull. We're talking Doak Riley McGree, and just how can the Boro beat Burnley, having only conceded 6 goals all season in the game, of course, live on Sky this Friday week. Welcome back, Rich, to Where Boro Walk, and thank you very much for watching. If you haven't yet subscribed, this is just a quick 20-minute Boro review every single week. Press the subscribe button to really help us out. Rich, before we get into Hull, can we jump back in time a little bit to Blackburn? That bust a lot of coupons, that one did. What happened?
I thought, one thing I will say, I thought they were a very well coached team. On the night, I tweeted at the time, they outran us, they outfought us. We looked very tired. I know Carrick had alluded to an illness going through the camp and there was a few changes, but I'm not really wanting to sit here with excuses. I still think we should have beat them. But you've got to give credit where it's due. They've gone on and beat Leeds as well. So, but they looked like a very well coached team. But that's about all I can give on that. I was disappointed, but it's Boro. It's bound to happen.
Yeah, we've been here before, haven't we? With teams that just nick one and then sit back and say, "Come on, break us down." It's not your strength, is it? At all. Let's talk about Hull City then a little bit more. Here's some tweets from that game because, of course, as we mentioned last week, they're on a really. I will do that one in a second. Yeah, great game. First of all, Alex says when Ben Doak learns he's allowed to shoot, he'll win a Ballon d'Or. We'll come back to that point in a minute. Thank God for Doak and Conway. Top player Conway. Big step up from Bristol. And UTB says a Barlaser Masterclass. Job done ahead of a big couple of weeks. Come on, the Borough. Let's talk about all those points then, shall we? Let's start with Barlaser. I like him as a player. What does he give you? That means he does all the dirty work, doesn't he?
I'll be honest, I'm not his biggest fan, as a lot of people who I go at the match with will tell you. I think he's a solid championship player, but I think sometimes he takes too long on the ball. He gets caught a lot, but he's probably, when given that time, one of the best passers on the pitch. And when he's on it. And I think you saw that against Hull. I thought he was fairly poor against Blackburn. I think against Hull, he upped his game and he fought for that place. But for me, the jury's still out on him. He's not the player I thought we were getting, if I'm honest. But I know he has a lot of fans, and I'll continue to support him when he's got the shirt on, to be honest. But I'm not the biggest fan of him, if I'm honest.
Universally, the love for Ben Doak is growing and growing. Unlikely to, well, if he is playing the Premiership with you, with Premier League next year, it'll be with you guys, but he won't be in the Championship again next season, will he?
No, not a chance. I'm still afraid of January with him, to be honest. If a lower league Premier League club says to Liverpool, we'll take him and guarantee him games, it still worries me. But he seems really happy here. I know he's got a good relationship on and off the pitch with Conway, and he spoke quite openly about how much he's loving the area and loving the fans and things. So, fingers crossed. He's amazing. He's amazing.
Yeah, very skillful player. We'll talk about Conway then. He turned down the offer at Bristol City. He was offered a deal, but wanted to come to Boro. Are you now seeing? We're seeing the best of him now.
Yeah, I mean he works hard, which is a big thing. When you come to Boro, you're going to be found out if you don't want to put the yards in quite quickly. I'm surprised at how good he is at finishing. He doesn't seem to squander a lot of chances. When he gets them, he puts them away. And the Bristol City fans on social media have soon gone quiet. So they were saying they had our pants down with the transfer fee and things. But I said when we signed him, if he gets between 10 and 15 goals this season for us, it'll be, in my eyes, a success story. And he's looking like he's going to even surpass that at the moment. I really rate him, to be honest.
Do you think you've got the best attacking lineup of all the teams fighting to go up, because you look at Leeds and they struggle with Peru and they have in and out with Aronson and so on. Burnley plays hot and cold there, Koleosho and so on. But you are the one side that seems to have the most settled front three, if you like, and that partnership of Latte, Latham, Pinazaz is just, I think, is the best in the league.
Yeah, it's really come to fruition, and I mean Finn at the moment, everything he touches turn into gold. As we saw, Latte missed a lot of chances early in the season, and he's on fire at the moment. So long may that continue. But I don't. I would like to say yes, we've got the best attacking, but on the day we probably have. But it's Latte is in a purple patch again. But having Conway, if Latte is not there, is exactly what we needed, and it shows the strategy the club's trying to do. The only thing that I fear is Latte's purple patch will bring a Premier League offer in January, and he'll do exactly the same as he did at the end of the last transfer window, and he'll want away. But I've seen we're linked with Louis Barry quite a lot locally. There's talk that Villa are going to take him back, and we've already agreed a deal to take him. I don't know how true it is, but it seems to be building momentum. So let's see. But I'm enjoying the goals at the moment.
Absolutely. This Friday, then, this fixture has neutrals like me salivating. It's the irresistible force meets the irremovable object of Burnley's meanest defence against Borough's best attack. How does Carrick set up for this one?
I mean, I don't really. I mean, I've watched a couple of Burnley's games recently, and they are quite expansive, but they just have their experience at the back. Their expansive play would sort of suit us a little bit, I think. But Burnley, for me, are going quite under the radar. They keep just picking up these 1-0 wins and sort of staying up amongst it and things like that. I'm going on Friday, so I've read quite a lot of their fan takes on it, and they said if they had a 20 goal a season striker, they would be blowing it away because they are creating a lot of chances, but they're missing a lot of chances while being solid at the back. But as they're proving, the grinding out results. So the sort of the winning the games that they're not dominating, the sort of still picking the points up. So it's a funny one. I think Carrick sets up well. We'll set up exactly the same as we always do, and it's just going to have to be. We're just going to have to be clinical. I think it'll be a chance of. I think it'll be a game of little chances. I don't see it being a high scoring game. I think if somebody gets a chance, you're going to have to put it away and then go from there and stay with that. But I don't like Scott Parker, so I really hope we go there and beat him about 5-0. But I just can't see it. Can't stand the man.
Okay. All right. I mean, we're looking forward to it. It should be a good game anyway. A good tactical battle anyway. Parker against Carrick. Let's move on to January transfer wishes, shall we? As all the kids around the country writing their lists, Rich, what's at the top of the Borough wish list for January?
Providing we don't lose anybody, I would say possibly another midfielder. Because we saw with Morris and Hackney out recently, Howson and Barlaser came in. Howson just looks unfit. I think he doesn't look quite up to speed yet after his injury, but that will come. Barlaser is there, but I think if we want to be serious about getting into this top two or staying amongst the playoffs, we need that. We need something better to come in after Morris and Hackney. I think possibly a right back. I really love Luke Ayling. But Dyke surprised me a few times this season as well. So it's a bit of a funny one. I think if we just got a midfielder in and lost nobody else, I think I would be completely happy with that.
Okay. Can I ask you about Riley McGree? Matt says, and this is of course from one of the Big Borough podcasts as well. So thank you, Matt, for this one. Seen some negative comments on Riley McGree. Bergson may be good form, but he doesn't suddenly make McGree useless. Yes, his injury record is frustrating, but he's had 6 GAs from 8 starts. Because one player is in form, it doesn't make the other suddenly useless. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, completely. I mean, for me, McGree's our best player in that role. We look a much better team when he's in it and he's fit and he's firing. The injuries are frustrating with him. He limped off at the weekend after a bit of a no, it wasn't at the weekend. Sorry, it was against Blackburn. He limped off with a suspect challenge, to be honest, which I've seen again, and I think he was a bit of a lucky boy, to be honest, not to walk for that. But he's limped off. There's been no word from the club, so we'll see when we see him again. But 100%, I think he's our best player playing across the front, and I think you've seen a real change in Azaz since McGree's come back in the team, because him and Doak free him up so much space, and that's when Azaz gets that little bit of space to get it out his feet and do something with it, which he's been doing pretty successfully.
Super. Right.
He looks.
Thank you for that.
Just on Azaz, he looks like the player we all thought, and I've defended him on here quite a lot, saying you can see there's a player in there, and it's finally coming out, thankfully.
Yeah, our Plymouth fans are desperate for him back. if you never want to, by goodness, they need him right now. Thank you for that. November Player of the Month is our final stop then on this week's episode. Plenty to choose from here, Rich. But who are you going to give it to?
Do you know what? I'm going to go left field here, because I know a lot of people say Doak and things, but I'm going to go with Bergzog. I think he's been on the periphery for a lot this season, but he's been asked to play because of injuries and things this month, and he's done really well, and he's looked a threat in every single game he's played in, and his work rate, which was one thing I did fault when I first seen him, is up. He's chasing, he's scoring goals, he looks like he's happy in his football. So that's my left field choice for the Player of the Month.
I did not see that coming at all. But yes, his performances in the recent weeks certainly have been. It's a sign of good coaching, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's getting the best out of him, and I think he strikes me a bit of a. I mean, I don't know the players personally, but I know people that do know a couple of the lads, and they say, I think that exactly how he is on the pitch is exactly how he is around. He's a bit of frustrating at times, but I think he's really applied himself, and he's deservedly getting some minutes, to be honest, because he's been really good.
All right. Thank you very much, Rich. Burnley against Borough this Friday night on Sky. It's going to be one I'm looking forward to massively. Enjoy your trip to Turf Moor. How long is that going to take you on a Friday night?
Clear trip, just about between 2 and 2.5 hours, but it's a Friday afternoon, isn't it? So it's bound to go. Every time I've been to Burnley, something's gone wrong. So I can imagine it. I've been twice in the past, and I think the bus broke down the first time, and the second time there'd been a crash, so we were just sat in a load of traffic. But hopefully this time we're straight through.
All right. Enjoy your M65 trip. We'll see you the other side of it in 7 days' time. Enjoy the game. Enjoy the football. Thank you very much for watching. Drop us a like if you haven't done so already. See you next week.